thinking about prevention, education, and awareness, maybe we should ask the youth. They already know so much. Some of the plans that we've had in our organization are to sit down and do focus groups with the youth so that I'm not telling them what I think that they need to know, but we're opening up a space where we can all share, and get on the same page together, because I think that's really important.
Awareness on like technology. You don't even have to, I don't have to text you anymore. Like just look at my location. And I think that's the other thing that youth have taught us is
Right.
not only just about the discussion, but how to use technology to our benefit.
Mm-hmm. And I also think that I know from my experience in working with youth, the most success has been when you involve the youth and they help shape it.
Right.
It's much more impactful if it's coming from one of their peers than it is from one of us.
Issues like at first contact in the 1500s, when Columbus wrote in his journals that young Indigenous girls ages 9 to 10 were most wanted for sex trafficking.
Mm-hmm.
It's, us as Native women here in the US, our population is about 1.5%, yet 40% of the human traffic victims are Native. In order for us to be able to do anything, we have to talk about it. We have to talk about it with our young people. We have to talk about it with our leaders. We have to talk about it with the general public. We cannot be silent anymore. And for our young people, it's and even for us, it's life and death.
To survive, many people, many generations that I know of my own family, they were trafficked. We don't call it that, but we look back and we go, hey, that was survival sex.
Mm-hmm.
In order to get groceries, electricity bill paid, or whatever you had to do to survive for yourself and your kids, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so that was, this idea of trafficking has been going on for a very, very long time. But when I see other people sitting in this circle together and educating our youth, especially the youth, I think that we have a generation of really empowered Native youth, and it gives me such hope that we will see an end to this epidemic.
I had somebody ask me why. Why are Native women more vulnerable? And my answer was, there's nothing inherently about us that makes us vulnerable. There's nothing that's in us that makes us weak, that makes any of these horrible statistics that we have happen. We were targeted. We are being targeted. We were targeted for our land, for our resources, and because of jurisdictional issues, we're being targeted today.
Well, I think when you think of the state of California and all the unique nations and peoples, we're not a CIS episode, right? And I know that there's conversation about the West Coast pipeline that follows, the coast and with casinos and all of that. I live in a rural part of Southern California. That's not what trafficking looks like for us. I'm not saying that's not what it looks like or it's defined for other peoples. But ours looks like, even in the Coachella Valley, there is labor trafficking, right? So it looks very different. It's only through developing a rapport and a relationship built on trust, that then you hear a person's story. And one of the saddest moments that I had, I took this young girl grocery shopping, and what got me the most, and this sounds so bizarre, part of her victimization was being starved. And she would eat food off the plates that were in the sink, like leftovers that she cleared for everybody else. And we were in the grocery store, and she was shopping. I was like, get what you need, putting her into shelter, and she grabbed a package of Chips Ahoy chocolate chip cookies, and she turned to me and she said, "Can I get these?" And it just broke my heart. It just broke. Even now, it's just that memory that stays with me. And we probably bought way more junk than she needed, but I just couldn't say no to any of this. It's heartbreaking.
And I think kind of what you were saying, like we have the weight of our ancestors, but we have the strength of our ancestors.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what we have to, that's why organizations by natives, for natives are so important. And when we talk about mental health, sometimes they want us to sit in a room with 4 walls. You
On
can't.
the couch.
Right. You're gonna force this information out and you're gonna release it this way. But we have to think about what mental health looks like for our people. That's the only way we're gonna heal them.
I think that's one thing that we should take from the non-native culture is they're very interested or very, they always find a way to have me time, you know, self-care. And I know for myself, I only started doing self-care like within the last 5 years. And once I was able to like do that, now I have an even balance of I can jump in, I can do the work. When it gets too much, when I know I'm missing things or I'm making really simple mistakes, it's because I'm overwhelmed. So then take a step back. And I've done the work to find out like, what do you like to do? You know, what helps you give yourself that mental health break?
Heal them the way our ancestors have always done it. That doesn't mean talking isn't who we have. I say we've always had therapists. They were called your aunties, your uncles, your medicine people, your cousins. Laughter, right? I think is something that we often, people don't get our sarcasm sometimes and our humor, but that's how we're gonna heal. But sometimes the way we heal is not what is written down as the right way.